Hi there everybody, and welcome to another video. Today's video I have my BMW X3 here. This is the 2.5i 2006 model, and the engine light is come on. Car is misfiring a little bit, and I'm just checking on the computer here what might be happening. I recently changed the coil packs in this car because I had a few misfires back, well, not that maybe 6 months ago or 3-4 months ago. So the car was running fine. Now I left the car parked for a few weeks, a couple of weeks, and then come back to it and it's misfiring. But not only that, there is a smell of rotten eggs coming from the exhaust. So usually, apparently, that is to do with the catalytic converter. So, but it could be something else. So I don't want to be dreading a cat just yet. So gonna check for the fault codes and see if we can actually find something. By the way, the computer I'm using here is a Launch Pro, so it sort of connects via Bluetooth to the connector there to read the codes. So there are 2 fault codes on the engine ECM I can see at the moment, but we need to wait for this to finish. Okay, so there is quite a few fault codes showing here, but these fault codes here are not related to the engine. This is to do with power window protection for window, anti-trap protection, power window. ABS, it says steering angle sensor and instrument cluster. So this I think is related. I had a bulb that was blown, and sometimes a blown bulb on your brake lights or something, it causes these kind of fault codes. So I'm not really concerned about this. My main issue is the engine one that says misfire, and also it says interface. Now this again, EWS, that's to do with the immobilizer. Not related, I don't think. Anyway, I'm gonna clear the fault codes here and just make sure I look at all of them. Brake light, it says brake light right faulty. So I am having an issue with one of the brake lights, so at least I know which one. Rear fog light adaptive brake light left faulty. So it says right and left, right? I need to do those. And differential to central light mode. Okay, so let's clear this, and obviously that's going to clear the faults. It's going to clear the light here, but it's not going to clear the misfire. That's something that we may have to. The car is still misfiring, so that means at the moment, because there's a misfire, either I have an injector problem or I changed the coil pack, so I'm not aiming for a coil pack or a spark plug. So we'll have to look at that. So regarding the misfire I had, I went ahead and changed the spark plug on cylinder number 1, and it solved the misfire. So what I'm going to do, but I used a spark plug that I had lying about. It's not exactly the correct one, though the car is working really well at the moment. So but I decided to, obviously I'm gonna fit 6 new spark plugs, and I've ordered them. It's been a while since I ordered this, but this is the ones I've got. FR7NPP332, these Bosch spark plugs, and they are double platinum. So these are the ones I'm going to be fitting today. At least I know that the misfire was related to a spark plug rather than a fuel injector or anything else, because I have new coils in there. So to change the spark plugs in this car, you need to remove these 4 Allen bolts. Now these are the originals. This is what they look like. There are 5mm Allen key to remove them. I noticed I lost 2 of them, so I had to just sort of make another 2 from some bolts I had lying around. But anyway, remove those 2 and remove the ones at the back. If we want to avoid removing all of these, you have to get to the back through here. There is one of the bolts that is sitting. Let me get the light on there. So one of those bolts will be sitting in that hole there, and the other one is going to be sitting at the back of this cover where that hole is. And believe it or not, you can reach there with your hand, your arm. Even though my arm is quite short, I still get there and undo it. But be really careful not to drop those. Obviously you might drop them, so just be careful. Once you loosen them with your ratchet, then do it with your hand if you can take them out. So I normally grab that, put it on the bolt and take it out slowly. Once you do that, we do need to take this out, and we do have to actually literally take it out of here because we want to take that cover out. Right, hopefully we can take this out just like that. And now we want to take this cover out. Now this cover will come out, but you will struggle a little bit with this part here when trying to get that cover out. Let's try not to make a mess. Okay, so I think the best way to get it out is sort of slide it out this way, and you need to get it up here to come out. Right, once that is out, we better put this back on there to avoid anything going in there. So we have access to our coil packs and spark plugs. So the hardest ones will be at the back, obviously, but it is what it is. So now we need to get all these out. Now since I have new ones, hopefully it won't be that hard to remove. That one's a bit stuck. Okay. Usually when you open the little cup, that comes out. So that's what we need to do next, pull them out. But I usually get a screwdriver and I sort of do a little bit of that to help, because they can be hard to pull, and if you haven't changed this before, they can be really hard to pull. In fact I broke one of the ones at the back and I struggle removing that. So I think in a way also, if you do turn them a little bit, they can get loose. Let me get a screwdriver. Okay, so I went ahead and removed all the coil packs, the ones at the back. So basically you have an option here. If you remove this cover here, this is where the pollen filter is. You can undo these little clips here, that one, this one and this one. Take your pollen filter out, and behind that there will be some Torx screws, and also I think there is one sitting somewhere under here where you can remove a Torx, and basically you can remove this little cover. If you remove that cover, you're gonna have obviously better access to those coil packs at the back. it may be a little bit easier to do it that way. But what I've done is I've got a really long screwdriver here. I grabbed each one of these that I opened, obviously, and sort of did that against against the cover here, and those coil packs have come up and become loose, like so. And the same with the back one, this one as well, I think. Yep, that one is also loose, and that's how I did it. But mine, obviously, as I mentioned, they are coming out a little bit easier because they are new, and I already removed the old ones, which were really difficult to remove. Now I'm gonna take this out, and I'm gonna leave them sort of in a certain order that I know, cylinder number 1, 2, and 3. So they're gonna go back in the same place they come out. This one also, connection didn't come out, so push it out. Right. But they all, technically, space is a bit limited, but they do come out because I managed to do them this way. By the way, just check out my other video. That's number 5, and number 6 is right at the back, but again, there is room for it to come out. Okay, with all of that out, we're gonna see what tool we need for the spark plugs. So I'm gonna use one of these. This is an M10 for the spark plugs. Just looks like a normal socket, but it's got usually they have in here, they have a little rubber which sort of grabs your spark plug when you take it out. But my little rubber is missing, so we're gonna have to figure something out, and you're gonna need an extension. Oops, oh, that extension. Okay, so if we put that in there, then you need your ratchet. This might be too small for a ratchet. I'm gonna get another one. So the first spark plug here will be the easiest to remove, obviously, followed by number 2 and number 3 here. They will be the easiest for you to undo. Another thing is, once you crack them open, it might not be again as easy to remove by hand like this. You might have to use your ratchet a little bit more. It just depends. But I have noticed that cracking this open and undoing them by hand, it's possible. But sometimes, as time goes, they get a little bit stuck in there. So if you have a magnet like this, you can put it in there and grab your spark plug, like so. So that's the one I used earlier. I already undone this one. And these are slightly different to the ones I'm fitting, by the way. These are BKR 6EQUP. The one I used to test my misfire was this Bosch Super Plus, and obviously the ones I'm using are a bit different. They are the ones that I showed you already. So getting to what I wanted to show you, it's getting to the other 3 that are at the back. You will be able to fit your tool possibly through here to get to that one there. So that one there should be okay, and then the next one also you'll be okay getting your tool through here and using your magnet. So the one at the back is the only one that you need to be a little bit creative. So I have a double ratchet here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fit half of it first, and then the other half I'm just gonna plug it as I put it in. So we just need to use our imagination how to get to the spark plugs. But this is why if you remove that, it might be a little bit easier, but it's not the end of the world. I've already removed one of those, by the way. I already removed the one here. I've also undone the one, my magnet's sticking to everything. Okay, that one. And you may notice that this one has actually oil in it, but again, I'm not too concerned about that oil yet, because it looks like a lot of that oil is coming from here and running down there. If we do get much oil on all of them, it might be a sign that we need to change the rocker cover gasket, which has, obviously the gasket has other gaskets that go around the spark plugs. So that's another thing for another day. So let's try to get the last one there. You saw how that came out. Pretty much all of them come out the same way. Okay, there was no issue getting that in there. I just dropped half of the extension in and then plugged the other half. So no trouble at all. Now I can get my ratchet and undo the plug and get it with my magnet. Right, I've got my new plugs. One thing I've noticed is that the new plug, it's a lot longer than the ones that were fitted in there, but I was reassured that these are the correct for my engine. So I'm gonna fit them and see how we get on. So it's possible that these were wrong, but I'm not sure now, having looked at this. But I did double check, triple check that these are for this model. So as I always say, make sure you don't buy the ones that I'm showing you here. Make sure you buy the ones that go on your car. And you can go by the chassis or the registration. Obviously do it that way, otherwise you might get the wrong ones if you just copy mine. So with my magnet, I'm going to put the plug in there, and basically I just want to sort of release it in there, but without dropping it, basically, because the last thing I want, it's the little filament. So if I show you one of the plugs that I have somewhere here. Okay, so if you drop the plug in there, that little filament can bend in and touch the electrode there. So you don't want that. That's why you want to put it in carefully. Even if you put it in with your finger, if you just grab it on the side and get it all the way down there like that, it doesn't drop. With your magnet, it might be a little bit more challenging, but it is something I need to do for the one at the back. Although saying that, actually I just realized that my finger is long enough to actually slide it down without any dramas. Let me try another one. So I went a little bit ahead of myself and just fitted all the plugs and coils and everything, but I'm gonna show you on this first one here. So I got my plug in there, like I said, carefully, and then if you get your spark plug tool in there and tighten it by hand all the way as much as you can, get it in there by hand. That way we're making sure we're not gonna be damaging the thread on the cylinder head or anything like that. And once it's in and tight by hand, then you can use your ratchet to go ahead and tighten the last few bits. Now if you want to torque these spark plugs, you can torque them to the recommended torque, which I think from what I was looking is 28 Newton meters. So I haven't got a torque wrench today and I'm not going to be torquing them. However, if you're not doing this all the time, so I'm doing cars all the time and I do spark plugs and whatnot, so I do have an idea of how much to tighten them to. But the last thing you want to do is over tighten that or even break it or damage it. If you break it or cross thread it or whatever, that is going into the cylinder head and that would be major repair. So in any case, get a torque wrench. In my case, for example, I hit a point where I can't turn my ratchet anymore. I can obviously force it, but that's not what we want to do. So as far as I'm concerned, for me that is enough force and that is safe. And then get your obviously coil and put it in there just the way it came out. Push that in there, make sure it goes all the way in here. You can see it needs to be flush with the back, otherwise you may have a misfire if it doesn't. And then lock that and make sure that is nicely sitting in there. Same for all of them. Obviously the back ones are a little bit harder again, but very much doable. So this one I haven't, there we are, pressed it properly. And I'll just have a quick start. I did when I noticed that the spark plug was a bit longer, what I did is I put one plug in, tightened it and crank the engine for a few seconds just to see if I hear any knocks or anything like that. So there wasn't anything that concerned me, and that's why I went ahead and fitted the rest of the plugs. So what we'll do now is get it started and hopefully everything will be okay there. So that's perfectly fine. It's running fine, no noises, no dramas here. But I do wonder why that those spark plugs are longer than the ones that were in there. Not sure. Anyway, it might be that these are the wrong ones or not, but I did my research before I bought these plugs. So anyway, now it's just a matter of getting that cover back on and the 4 screws and you're pretty much done. So I hope the video helps. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions before doing the job, go ahead and ask me. Obviously I'll try to help whichever way I can, but do bear in mind that whatever you do or you don't do, you do it at your own risk, because you're tackling your own car and you're following a guide, and there's lots of different guides out there, but the one thing I would always say is just be patient. If you want to tackle the job yourself, have some patience and do it slowly. Check the parts as I showed you. If you notice anything different, then ask your supplier, whoever you bought the plugs from, so that way you avoid any damage. The last thing you want to do is save money by doing the job yourself but damaging your car, and that's going to cost you a lot more than if you took it to the garage. That's my point. So anyway, hope the video helps. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next video. So thank you for watching.